that is protected, right, for Shakespeare, now expire after 60 years. But if you also come up with a romantic story of your own, even though it's inspired by Romeo and Juliet, it's absolutely fine, right? It's your expression in copyright where the originality is seen and protected by the state. But in patent, more or less, it's the idea that gets protected. So that is the difference between all these different states. Maybe the last question before this.
Literary work, especially. So what happens if, for example, you are a poet, you pen down something and then put it on social media? Because this general tendency, okay, you put it, a creative piece, you put it on social media in any form. So what happens to that? It's your, who owns the copyright now?
You own the copyright. Like if you are the poet and you have published it on Instagram or anywhere else, Substack, and you immediately get a copyright for it, you are the owner of that work. And that means nobody else can take credit for that work. Nobody else can further distribute that work. Because you see, any work nowadays can be merchandised. That poem could come on a t-shirt and you could sell the t-shirt, right?
Yes.
So somebody else cannot now take those lines of that poem and sell a t-shirt on it.
So it's simply that you create something and then post it on social media, even that becomes your
Absolutely.
Oh.
So in copyrights it's like that.
Yeah.
In patents it's not like that. I just want to clarify for the benefit of the audience, because you know, in patents, before you publish anything, you should apply, right? Because the rule of publication goes against you in patents, right? So before you publish, you should apply for the patent. But in copyright, as soon as you publish, you get a copyright. And you can formally get it registered as well, but the rights are not dependent on that registration. It exists from the day that you publish it.
Yeah. Also, you should always remember to write copyright at the rate of whatever.
Yes.
That's right.
Because that gives you, legality without actually registering as a copyright.
Automatically just for 20 years. You can't renew it after that. But in trademarks, you can renew it till perpetuity. So every 10 years, you can renew it. And that is why trademarks, live much beyond the person who ever came up with that particular brand.
Okay, after registration, it's always on.
It can be as long as you renew it every 10 years.
Okay.
And you should be commercially present also.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. You should be utilizing that brand. You should be selling something under that brand.
Made. Is there any patent or something other that can be made, because that's also an innovation which a person has put it in the discovery, like to just think that this is new. So is there something else also for that?
I'm so sorry. Are you saying how to search whether you have done something new? Is that what you're asking? How to check whether you have come up with a new idea?
No, for example, if we have discovered something, for example, Newton has discovered gravity.
Yes.
So what are the steps to make it patent for that people would remember him for after the name of gravity?
So, in that kind of an example, there is no innovation. He discovers something. He has to publish a paper, and then that paper will give him copyrights for that literary work, because there is no innovation from his end. He has discovered something that already existed. But if, let's say, you innovate and you find something new, then you should immediately write down what is it that you have created, innovated. You write it down, you describe it fully. For example, let's say it's a flying car, right? You make that car, you sketch it out, you write properties of that car, you define how that car would work, how would it fly, what would be required, all those parameters, right? And you formalize that, and then you file that application.
So basically for patent, there are three things that you should be careful about. The idea or innovation, whatever you have done, it has to be novel, as in not known to anybody. No prior, it should not be there in the market before, even in the form of idea. And third, that it should have some industrial application as well. So those three things need to have, then you can apply for patent. Not everything can be patent. We pointed out that if that concept you want to put in a paper, that can be copyrighted.
So I would really thank the audience for engaging with us so beautifully and coming up with